The fastest street-legal German car ever built is not a Porsche. It's not a Mercedes, not an Audi, not a BMW. And before you type it in the comments, it is not a Bugatti either. We'll get to why. The fastest one comes from a company whose name looks like a typo, 257 miles per hour, from a car you could, in theory, drive to the shops. Here's the one rule today: street legal only. No race cars, no prototypes, no one-offs you can't put a license plate on. Real cars, real roads, real registration. So before we get to number one, drop a comment right now with your guess for the fastest. Almost nobody gets it right. Let's count down. Number 7, RUF-CTR Yellowbird. 211 miles per hour, 1987. Start here because this is where the obsession begins. A small German company called RUF took a Porsche 911, bolted on 2 turbochargers, and painted it bright yellow. 463 horsepower. Then, in 1987, an American magazine lined up the fastest cars on Earth. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche's own best. And this little yellow car beat all of them. 211 miles per hour. For a moment, the fastest car in the world was built by a family firm you'd never heard of. Here's the myth bust. Everyone calls it a modified Porsche. It isn't. RUF is a recognized manufacturer with its own vehicle identification number. It builds its own cars. They just happen to look exactly like a 911. And remember that number, 211. Almost 40 years later, it is still fast enough to make this list. Now watch what the obsession turned into. Number 6, Porsche 918 Spyder, over 214 miles per hour, 2013. Now the factory giant takes its swing. The 918 Spyder was Porsche's hybrid halo car, a screaming V8 plus 2 electric motors, 875 horsepower combined. It was the first production car to lap the Nürburgring in under 7 minutes. Here's the myth bust most people get wrong. They assume Porsche's fastest car is a 911. It isn't. The fastest thing the factory will hand you is this hybrid. And the mighty 911 GT2 RS, the fastest 911 ever, is actually a hair slower flat out. This is about as fast as the big factories get, because past this point, the factories bow out and the specialists take over. Number 5, Mercedes AMG 1, 219 miles per hour, 2022. Mercedes did something insane here. They took the actual engine concept from their Formula One car, a tiny 1.6-liter turbo V6 hybrid, and they made it road legal. 1,063 horsepower. It is the first street-legal car to lap the Nürburgring in under 6.5 minutes. No road car has ever gone around that track faster. But here's the honest part. Its party trick isn't top speed. It's corners. And it's so highly strung, so close to an actual race car, that the engine needs servicing on a schedule that would make a normal car owner faint. This is a Formula One car with a license plate, and it behaves like one. That is the last factory car on this list. Everything above this line comes from a small workshop and a big obsession. Number 4, Gumpert Apollo, 224 miles per hour, 2005. Roland Gumpert was the engineer behind Audi's legendary Quattro rally cars. Then he went off on his own to a small town in Germany and built this, an Audi twin-turbo V8, wrapped in a body that generates so much downforce that Gumpert claimed famously it could drive upside down inside a tunnel. Here's the myth bust. It looks like a homemade kit car, and yes, the company later went bankrupt, but there was nothing amateur about it. Real Audi-derived engineering, real brutal speed, 224 miles per hour. And now we enter the part of the story where German tuners stopped playing and went to war with Bugatti directly. Number 3, Brabus Rocket, 227 miles per hour, 2006. This one is my favorite because of what it is. Brabus took a Mercedes CLS, a 4-door sedan, a car with back doors and a trunk, and they stuffed a twin-turbo V12 into it. Then they took it to a high-speed test track in Italy with an independent magazine timing it and ran 227 miles per hour. That made it the fastest street-legal sedan in the world. A family car. Faster than almost every supercar on the planet. Here's the myth bust that matters. This was not a brochure claim, it was independently timed, and Brabus never stopped. The descendants of this car, the Rocket 900 builds on the G-Wagon and the AMG GT, have been terrorizing the fastest sedan and fastest SUV records ever since. 2 cars left, and both of them are underneath Porsches that went to a very expensive finishing school for lunatics. Number 2, RUF CTR3 Club Sport. 236 miles per hour, RUF again. The Yellowbird people from number 7. But this is a completely different animal. This time, RUF didn't convert a 911. They built a bespoke mid-engine car from the ground up with a chassis co-developed by Multimatic, the same company behind the modern Ford GT twin-turbo flat 6. Around 760 horsepower in Club Sport trim. Fewer than 30 ever made. 236 miles per hour. Here's the myth bust. The Yellowbird looked like a 911 because it basically was one. This car only wears the family face. Everything underneath is pure, bespoke RUF. This is what nearly 40 years of obsession actually builds, which leaves the king, and the king is the strangest story on this entire list. Number 1, 9FF GT9R, 257 miles per hour, 2008. The fastest street-legal German car ever comes from a tiny shop in Dortmund run by a man named Jan Fathauer. His nickname in the industry was the Engine Artist, and before he started this company, he worked at RUF. Of course he did. He took Porsche's flat 6 engine, built a custom mid-engine chassis around it, and turned it up to 1,120 horsepower. The mission was simple and aggressive. Beat Bugatti's number. Take the outright street-legal speed record. Only about 20 were ever built. The claim, 257 miles per hour. And here is the honest part, because you deserve it. That number is a claim. It was calculated and reported, not independently timed with the official two-way run the record books demand. 9FF even teased a wilder version aiming for 270. So the crown wears an asterisk. But claimed or not, this is the number that put a company called 9FF above every single badge you actually recognize. The fastest German car in history isn't wearing a crest you'd know. It's wearing a name that looks like a typo. So here's the whole picture. Germany has stretches of Autobahn with no speed limit. Give a nation of engineers a road like that, and an obsession like this was basically guaranteed. And look at who actually holds the crown. Not Porsche, not Mercedes, not Audi or BMW. The big names built the famous fast cars, the 918, the AMG 1. But the outright records belong to the obsessives. RUF Brabus Gumpert, a shop called 9FF run by a man they called the Engine Artist. Now the Bugatti question, as promised. Yes, Volkswagen owns Bugatti, but Bugatti is a French company, and every Veyron and Chiron is built in Molsheim in France. So by the rules of this video, German cars only, Bugatti sits this one out, which is the only reason the crown is this interesting. And one honest note to finish. The higher you climb this list, the shakier the numbers get. The Yellowbird and the Brabus were clocked by independent testers. The very fastest claim at the top is a claim. That's the game up here. Everyone's chasing a number, and not everyone brings a stopwatch. So tell me in the comments, which of these 7 would you actually point down an empty Autobahn at dawn? And be honest, did anyone guess number 1 before the reveal? I break down cars and money the way they actually work. No brochure fluff. See you in the next one.